All right, for this one, I'm going to show you guys how to get monthly backups, free monthly backups up and running in ManageWP, and then creating a zip of the website and then setting it up locally so I can tinker with it on a local site. Tools I'll be using are ManageWP and local, well, it used to be called Local by Flywheel. Now it's just local WP, I guess, since WP Engine acquired them. So the first thing you're going to need to do is set up a ManageWP account. And then once you have the account set up, I don't want to do a video, clicking through all that stuff. That seems kind of boring. But once you have that set up, I will show you how to add it. So once you have your ManageWP account set up, obviously go to managewp.com and set that up. Once you have that set up, you go over here, and in the top left, you just hit this plus sign, and you want to add a site. And so in this case, we're going to get aaronryman.com, just one site here. I'm going to hit add website. And it's auto-filling with some stuff here. I'm going to use a connection key. Well, I kind of don't want you guys to see my connection key. So I'll use a username and password, and I'll probably blur that or not show you guys the username. I'm going to move this over. It's not that I don't trust you. I need to dig up the password for that, so give me 1 second. So basically, they're just asking for an administrator's username and password to get into the site. So I need to find that. All right, I'm going to copy this password. I think this is the right one. And then I'm going to hit add website. I know you're not seeing this. All right, cool. So it started. I guess I can move this up here. Okay, so it connected. Basically, I gave it a username and password, and now it can connect to my website. And so on my website now, I had just removed this ManageWP plugin. So you'll see it here as removed. But when you put the username and password in there, it goes into the back end without you really noticing, and it installs the plugin and activates it, which is cool. So basically, we've got a website on ManageWP now. I just don't have any services set up, and depending on the site, obviously, I'll do backups. If for some reason I'm managing a site where the backups, I don't have daily backups set up on the server level, because that's the best way to do backups. I don't trust WordPress to backup itself. That's just not a wise thing to do. If for some reason they're hosting somewhere and they don't offer that, I'll sometimes install this plugin and do the 30 or monthly backups. So this is how you do that. So just click on backups, and it says schedule this. You hit activate. You can do the premium version for, it says $2, but I think it's really just like $1.40, which really $1.40 for 90 days of backups, and it's daily backups. Totally worth it. If you don't have any other solution, I have a better solution because I do it at the server level. But I'm going to go ahead and activate this, the free version, and then I'm going to hit activate, and I'll show you what that looks like. So we have these grayed out sections, meaning they're not active, but this one is more, it's a darker gray. It's grayed out. If we were to change this and go into settings and tell it, if I went from monthly to weekly and then hit save, it's going to pop up and say, hey, we're going to charge you $1.40. Actually, why not? Or let's just change it to daily so you can see what it looks like. So hit save. See, $1.40. That's really, honestly, that's not that expensive to give you some daily backups. But again, I just use it as a if my backups that are working, if those all fail, I at least have them on this server. So since I have already I had add this before, it remembered that I had a backup, so I'm not going to do a backup. I already have one already prepared. So, but just so you know, once you have this where this is bolded or a darker gray, it means that you've got monthly backups. And you'll see it down here. It'll say we are trying to update, or we're trying to do your first backup. So real handy. We're going to go ahead and I'll show you guys how to download that. You click on the date, then go to, actually, right here, we would just hit download. I don't need to download the zip because I already have it set up. So the next step of this, so that covers backups. We have a backup, we have started a backup, and then we can download the zip. Once the initial backup is done, then go over here and download the zip file. And I'll show you that in files. Let's see. We've got this file that I created. So basically, I've got a zip of aaronryman.com here. The next step will be taking this zip file that ManageWP created and then putting it in local. So I'm not going to walk you through the process of installing local. It basically consists of going over here to download, telling it you want to use Mac, Windows, or Linux. Obviously, you'll know which one that is. I'll just show you what that looks like. They ask for your name and email address. So that's only a little frustrating part. It is free, but you do have to cough up an email address. But once you do that, they will give you a zip, and you can go, or not a zip, an exe or a disk image on a Mac or a Debian file or something on Linux. But once you have local installed, and literally it's, put your email address in here, hit get now, and it'll start downloading it. You don't have to wait and verify. I mean, you probably could put in a fake email address. I'm not suggesting to do that, but I mean, you probably could put bogus information in here, and you probably would be fine. The zip or the download starts immediately. But once you have that installed, you will go and launch. Let me minimize, not minimize, let me just make this smaller. Put it over here, and I'm going to launch local, and I will show you what that looks like. So on your first launch of local, it's going to look pretty blank, and we just need to create a site. So I'm going to hit create a new site, and I'm going to do create a new site instead of from a blueprint. If you're fancy, you can use a blueprint, and the blueprint will pull in all of your, you can configure it to load your favorite plugins and things like that. So I don't need a blueprint because I have an existing site I'm trying to build here. So I'm going to hit continue. I'm going to give it a name of Aaron Ryman, and that might not be necessary actually, but I'll show you the next step here. I know you want to hit continue here, but don't. This does a really good job of, I'm just trying to make sure you're seeing everything here. You can drag the zip file that you got from ManageWP. You can just drag it over here, and it says drop to import. So I'm going to drop it. It's going to start to unzip it, and it wants to name the site this really bad name. So I'm just going to call it Aaron Ryman. It will it'll append .local. So if you look at the advanced options here, it's going to create the site at aaronryman.local. So I'm going to hit continue, and Normally, I would say just hit import site, but the one thing I don't like here is that it's using PHP 8.1.9, which doesn't exactly match my hosting environment. There aren't really a lot of hosting companies are just trying to get PHP 8 up and running, not 8.1. So I'm going to just change this real quick. I'm going to go down to PHP 8 because that's a little more standard, at least right now. If you're watching this video and it's a year old, you're on YouTube and whatnot, go ahead and switch over. But I mean, for January of 2023, this is sufficient. Web server, I could either install Nginx or Apache. I'm going to stick with Nginx because that's where where I host. That's what they use, and then I always try to use the newest version of MySQL, whatever they offer. So that's the only change I really made, was changing it to not use 8.1, but to use 8.0. So I'm going to hit import site, and this is going to take a while. So this is extracting the files. I think the part that's going to take the longest is importing the MySQL database. But at least we don't have to do that manually. It does it for you. Okay, it's prompting me for my root password, I think. If I can make that any bigger, there we go. Great, I hear a thunderstorm coming. This video might make it on YouTube, it might not. I feel like I should sing a song or something. I'm not going to, but I was not blessed in that skill set. I wish there were a way to do a verbose, like if I were doing this import via command line, I could do a MySQL, then table name -u space username -p-v, and the -v is basically the -v stands for verbose, so it would give me a lot more information about what's going on. In this case, I just have to assume that it's importing the right thing. And it normally does. It does get a little confusing sometimes if the zip that you have has more than one .sql file, which some plugins out there will do that. But Local does a pretty good job figuring it out. And this is a zip directly from ManageWP, and I've tested this and it works. So it's just a little time suck. I'll probably edit the video and shorten this a little bit. Okay, cool. It looks like it's imported the database, and now it's doing some search and replaces, and we're up and running. So one thing you're going to want to do, this apparently is remembering that when I had aaronryman.local set up before, that this is trusted. So basically what this is doing is it's installing on your local computer. If you hit this trusted button, right now it's green, but when you click on it, it's installing an SSL certificate for aaronryman.local. And that just makes it a little bit easier for you to navigate, because if you were to go to aaronryman.local with HTTPS, it'll prompt you and be like, hey, that's not a valid SSL cert. So you want to hit the trusted button there. For me, it wasn't, because I've already set this one up and my browser is already set up to accept that SSL certificate. But anyway, it should work now. So I'm going to hit, I'm just going to hit go to site. Well, yeah, I'm going to kill this, and then I'm going to hit open site. All right, you can't tell, but okay, there we go. Let's adjust some things. All right, so as you can tell, we've got we've got aaronryman.local here, and there is no HTTPS by default, but I think if I just manually type that in, yeah. So it didn't by default put use the SSL, but I could go into my WP here. I'll just show you. So if I go into site shell here, it's going to tell us, okay, it dumps you directly into the directory, and you can edit. You could use, so if you're on Windows, to be honest, I don't even know how to do this in Windows. On Mac, you could use Nano to edit your WP config file if you're not familiar with VI. I'm familiar with VI, so I'm going to edit my WP config file. And just for grins, I'm going to tell it to, that was the wrong command, define WP home https://aaronryman.local. Local. What I'm doing here is I'm telling WordPress, hey, I know in WP options in the database, you're using HTTP, but I'm forcing WordPress to use the HTTPS. I just think it's going to be a little bit cleaner. It's not that necessary to do this, but I'm just showing you how to do it. So you want to set site URL and home as the same thing. And so now WordPress, once I write that, we should have it where it'll redirect me to, if I don't go to HTTPS, it should redirect me. And of course it didn't. I can fix that in the database, but nonetheless, that's how you get local development up and running from a backup on ManageWP. So hit me up if you have questions. Thanks.